Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how I installed my own IKEA shelves. However, instead of using the whole shelf kits, I'm just using the brackets, and I bought my own 2x8s and 2x12s. That way I saved money and I have my own custom length. So here's all the stuff that we need to make the shelves. This right here is, so the brackets, IKEA brackets, they come in two sizes. One is 11 inch and the other one is 7.5 inch in length. So what you saw earlier were a 7.5 inch in length, and right here I'm doing the 11 inch in length ones. So for a 7.5, what you want to get is you want to get 2x8. It comes out to be 7.25, so a little bit shorter. But that fits perfectly. And for the 11 inch brackets, you want to get the 2x12, and the 2x12 is exact length. In fact, it's maybe a little bit long on the edge. If you take a quick measurement, this is 11.25, and this is actually 11.25, so it's perfect. Now I went to one of the major hardware store. They cut this to size for me. The size I need was a 1/4 inch shorter than 4 feet long, so I have two. They cut the size of wood for me right here. So we have the brackets, we have the wood. I ripped a 1x1, so this is exactly a 1x1, and I think it's 11 inch. Yep. So it's a little bit shorter than the full distance. I ripped this on my table saw, so 1x1 I'm going to add this to the side right there. I'll show in a second. I need some quarters as spacers in a second to when I mount these. Some other stuff you need are some drill bits, a drill, some clamps, and wood glue right there. So first I drilled 3 holes right here. Got another one right here that I'm about to drill 3 holes. Let me just go ahead and drill that real quick. So 3 holes, as you can tell, they're not perfect, but that doesn't matter. The purpose is just for them to clamp against the wood. If you want, which I would recommend, is to drill a countersink on it to help the, one more thing, I'm using deck screws just to help the deck screws sink in. Doesn't have to be perfect again. Again, these hide behind the bracket. So after we have that, let's add this to the side right here. Okay, so now I need to mount this 1x1 on here, and in order to do so, if I take a measurement, this is 1.5, and that's 1. That means that I need a 1/4 on each end. 4 quarters is a 1/4, so I'll put that right there. Put this right on top right here. Then I'll clamp this down. Alright, so first let's drill a hole right here. Okay, next I'm just going to put a screw in here. Okay, after I have that in, now the rest of these screws will go in a lot easier. I meant to say the next of these holes will go in a lot easier. Alright, now let's add some wood glue.
No splitter, better.
Alright, and let's do it for all 4 sides. So it got dark pretty quick. pretty fast. After I got the ends pieces, the brackets in, now I'm just going to sand the surface with 220 grit. After that, I'm going to vacuum and wipe it down. If you want to paint it, you can paint it. If you want to stain it, you can stain it. But that's pretty much it for the prep work. There are two ways to mount this bookshelf bracket onto the wall. First way is to find the stud. A stud is basically a piece of wood that is vertical behind the sheetrock, and you attach the screw and the bookshelf to the stud. That's the most secure way. In order to find a stud, you should use a stud finder, and the way how a stud finder works is that you put it against the wall, you press the button, and as you get close to the stud, it will light up. So that shows me that the stud starts right here, and then if I keep on going, it'll end right there. So I know where the stud is, right there. Now if you don't want to mount it at the stud because the stud is not a location that you want, you can always use anchors. Different anchors can hold different weight, different pounds. This one right here holds up to, okay, it's very hard to see what it says right here, 25 pounds weight. And the pulling force is 15 pounds per anchor. Some are even stronger and so forth. The instructions to mount the anchor is pretty easy, as you can see the instructions right here. Basically you just take a drill and drill a hole in the sheetrock. Then the next step is you insert the anchor, drill in the screw, and that's it. So if you do have to drill a hole in the sheetrock, I do have a trick. Is first you take some blue tape, painter's tape. So you have both sticky sides of the tape overlap on each other by a little bit. So as you can see, that's sticky and that's sticky. You will, let's say if I have to drill a hole right here, you will lay that down and then flip this upward and you make a pouch. Whenever I drill a hole, all the sheetrock goes down to this pouch, and I can pull this off and I can stick it at a new location. I can collect all the sheetrock in it. And now when I'm done, seal it away, I can toss it. So again, I'm just using the stud behind it, so I just drilled straight into the wall. I then found the second stud. Well, there's a couple of studs in between, but then I found a stud that's about 4 feet away. Usually studs are about 12 inches to 16 inches apart. So if you do 12 or 16, 4 feet is a multiplier of either one. So now I'm ready to mount the brackets onto my shelf, my wood shelf. So behind the bracket there's 2 screws, which means that screws are going to be on this side. Okay, alright, so let's turn this around. Alright, so after I have that decision made, now I can install the 2 small little screws right here. So let's put this second one in here. And again, I'm not going to over tight it, I'm just going to get close enough right there. There's a little gap. So again, this can move. Switch this to the other end. Alright, Now I'm going to mount it onto the wall. So since I already have a pilot hole up there, alright, we'll go ahead and put the level up there and check. And as you can see, oops, if it focuses, that it's level. Now I'm going to put the 2 screws on the bottom. And now if you want, you can, well, that's pretty tight. Or you can, I was going to say you can tighten up the screws under here, but they're tight enough. So now I'm ready to mount the second shelf. To do so, first I need to make sure that these 2 align, and to do so I put a leveler and make sure that it's level, then I'll draw a line right here. Drill a hole right there. So next, now I'm ready to mount this at the pilot hole I just made. So I can take this off, take this piece of tape off. This just have to be level like before.